before I forget. Okay, yay, welcome. It's our first night. I am so excited. This is just a fantastic group of women that we have assembled for the purposes of nourishing our bodies and taking care of ourselves and creating this life of joy and ease. And I'm so excited for the next 12 weeks. So I'm going to go, tonight's going to be a lot of sort of like admin stuff and getting started stuff and overview of the next 12 weeks. And then I'm going to give you some very concrete homework and setting up the next steps. But before we do that, I would love for you all to just go around and introduce yourself. If you're comfortable, just share like what your goal is or why you're excited about this program, or if there's something specific that you are excited to learn, or anything else that you want to share with us. Okay, is that cool? So Zoom can be awkward without like a moderator. So I'm just going to call on people and have you guys go. Okay. So Michelle, could you start, please?
Yeah. So I'm Michelle Wirtz. During the day, I'm a corporate controller and I work with a lot of accounting and finance in running a health tech company here in Minneapolis. In my early mornings, I do training with Annie. And I used to be part of her ladies lift club at the Minneapolis club. So I miss that a lot. And then by evenings, I'm also a corporate controller because I work a lot. So that's about it.
A common theme here. Okay, awesome. Yay. I'm so excited to have you as part of this group, Michelle. Okay, how about Mary? You want to go next?
Sure. So I'm Mary Nutting, and I own a national recruiting and consulting company. I've owned that for 10 years, and I also work a lot all the time. And I love my work, but I was also president of the National Association of Women Business Owners in Minnesota and have been on the board for almost 6 years. I just ended my term. So that too has just put a lot on my plate. And so I'm ready. 2021 is a year that I'm going to try to focus on myself and my health and well-being. So that's why I'm here.
Welcome. Awesome. Okay, Ariel, how about you?
Hi, ladies. My name is Ariel, and I am in Chicago, although I'm originally from Miami. I feel like I should preface myself saying that. I'm not although I claim the Midwest now. I am Cuban and Italian, and I am a lobbyist. So I have all kinds of different clients. I've done everything from cannabis to Jim Beam used to be a client to like really fun stuff to like down to like the housing manufacturer. So really runs the gamut here, but that's what I do for work, both at the state and at the city levels, a little bit of federal work. And Annie is a friend of a friend and was like a super fan of like my podcast. And so that's how we got connected. And truly, I hit my head and have suffered from a concussion since October. So I haven't been cleared to work out yet, except I've had an incredibly slow recovery. So I figured this would be a great way to like focus on my nutrition and like still meet my goals without the working out piece. So that's why I'm here.
Yes. Yay. I'm so happy to have you. And in case anyone's wondering, the podcast is called Still Figuring It Out and is two amazing, brilliant young women who are figuring it out and have some great conversations. Let me just put a little plug in for the podcast. Okay, Ambria, in case you guys are wondering, I'm going in the order that I can see you on my screen. So it's not completely random, but there's not any like big significance to it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ambria Segner. I'm a labor and employment attorney and a parent of 2 young kids who fortunately are in school learning right now. So I don't have the distance learning piece, but found, I've been working from home since March and thought really that would mean I'd have all this time and cut out the commute and I'd exercise, and turns out I just work more. So for me, really looking at hopefully fitting into a new wardrobe before returning to the office and and shed some of the pounds I've gained sitting next to my kitchen, and also increase energy and not being quite so tired during these dark days.
And just fun fact, so Ambria and I know each other way back in the day when I was a Dorsey attorney, and I think actually I maybe was a summer associate. So this is like years ago, and we connected for like a summer, and then you left for Target, and we just reconnected. So I'm really happy to reconnect with you. Okay, Miriam.
Hey everyone, I'm Miriam Abbas. I am in Minneapolis as well. I work in finance at 3M. I've been there about 11 years now, and that's when I moved from Chicago. So my parents are still there. Yeah, we have that connection. I do have a 5-year-old as well in kindergarten. She's been at daycare and they've had kindergarten, so that's been kind of a nice blessing to have her be there. And I'm excited to learn from all of you. I did some one-on-one coaching with another coach and kind of learned about Annie, talked to her, and was super excited. And when she said, there's group coaching, I thought that'd be fun to learn from her, but then learn from all of you too. So super excited.
Yes, welcome. I'm really excited to work with you, Miriam. Okay, Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura Johnson. I'm one of the few who's at home not working. I used to be a classroom teacher, and I have 3 little girls. So when the second one was born, I turned in my time. So I just introduced them to like old school Full House, and now of course they're like, "What's Mom looking at?" But watch the show, please. So I'm busy. They just went back to school. This fall was ridiculous, and my health was like the absolute last thing. So I've actually worked with Annie in the past, but this fall was just it was a shit show. So I was like, please, please, please let me join the Nourish program. I need the group. I need Annie just to get everything back and like refocus. So I'm super excited to be here. And
Yes, I'm so excited too. So Laura actually won, just a little shout out, the best transformation for the summer 2020 Nourish project. And I think that's kind of a testament to the magic of this group, because after that, she and I shifted to one-on-one coaching, and then we took a little break, but you were like, I need the group back.
I was gung-ho, and I thrived this summer, and literally like something about the kids staying home just threw me. So I know that the Nourish program works, and I know that I could have taken all of that, and had I had like the willpower, could have implemented it on my own, but I just couldn't be apart from Annie. So here I am.
And Laura and I actually met because she came to my first retreat in Costa Rica. So just put that on your radars if anyone feels the urge for someplace tropical right now. Okay, last but not least, BB, and I'm glad we get to see your face now. You see you like transition from like your phone to computer or something.
Sorry about that. I was driving frantically home from practice.
I figured it was something like that. No worries at all.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bibi. I am the women's rowing coach at Wisconsin. And so, yay.
Let's go.
So that's how I know Annie. I didn't get to coach her,
I know,
unfortunately, but she's awesome. So I know a little bit about her. And so I've been sort of lurking from afar, watching Annie and what she's doing, and sort of wishing that I was taking part in all the wonderful things she was doing, but wasn't taking part in it. And I don't have kids, but I have student athletes, which is, I have 70 on my team. And so I don't bring them home, but they follow, they're always in my head, and they're always my number one priority. So at this point, especially with what happened last year, I didn't handle that very well. And it just helped me see that at 63 years old, it's time to think about myself and my future a little bit more and start caring a little bit more. So, you know, so what if I'm furloughed? It's time to take control of what I'm doing. And so that's why I'm here. And I'm really happy to meet all of you.
Yes, welcome. I'm so excited to have you as part of this group, BB. Yeah, I missed BB by maybe like 2 years, I think, but we've kind of connected like as I was a young alum and we stayed connected. So that makes me really happy. I'm so excited to work with you. And it's fun because one of my other clients from the Fall Nourish Project was one of my teammates who went on to coach at BC for, I think, 10 years or something. And same thing that we talked about with you, like there's a difference between being an elite athlete in your 20s and coaching elite athletes and then knowing how to take care of yourself as a grown-ass woman. Like it's a different thing. You can't just train for 4 hours a day anymore.
Even if I wanted to, I couldn't do that anymore.
Right. Yes. And it doesn't work. And I mean, and that's sort of like, we'll use that to transition over to the Nourish Project. Like I see so many women frustrated because they are trying to like work out more, eat less. They're trying to like have this willpower and it doesn't work. And it makes me super angry and super frustrated because these are people who are actually trying to do what they think is the right thing. And then they're not seeing the results or they're seeing like negative results, like gaining weight instead of losing weight. And there's so much in the fitness industry that preys off of women's body insecurities or selling this like get skinny quick scheme and then you'll be happy. And like, it does not work that way. Like you have to love your body as it is and then operate from a place of love and from nourishing your body. And then you actually have to know the science of like, what does your body need and how do you best take care of it? And so that's what really we're going to be focusing on for the next 12 weeks. And the challenging part is we're all as unique on the inside, our chemical makeup, our preferences, our lifestyle, as we are on the outside. So it takes some work, and any program that says, or any coach or any, guru that's like, just do this cookie cutter recipe, it doesn't work because we're all different. And, on top of that, anything that's like, eliminate this food group or stop eating all your favorite foods or just don't eat for a certain number of hours, it's not the solution. And it might work a little bit short term, but it's not going to be long term. And most of the research shows people bounce back and either just stop, they usually gain more weight than they lose. Or if, feel really deprived and leads to like binging or feelings of guilt or shame or something. So we're not going to have any of that. Also, I feel like I'm doing this a lot and I just need to point out that I have this like mermaid manicure on right now. So I'm just going to call this out. I just cannot with this high of 0 degrees right now. So I'm doing everything possible to like emotionally bring myself to the beach. Okay, I am going to share my screen with you. I have some fancy slides prepared. Okay, cool. Can you guys see this? Awesome. Okay, so sort of an overview of the Nourish Project. And you guys all know this from our calls and talking about it, but just an overview of what we're going to be doing in the next 12 weeks is nourishing our body, mind, and spirit. Breaking down into pillars of eating better, moving more, stressing less, and loving deeper, whether that's loving ourselves, loving our life, loving relationships, whatever it is. Those 4 pillars of taking care of your health can reduce and take care of most long-term degenerative diseases or prevent them if you're doing it ahead of time. And so that's sort of how I built the course off of that concept of eating better, moving more, stressing less, and loving deeper. And I think with hearing all these like professional, stressed out, busy women on this call, we're going to really focus on stressing less, how to manage the stress, what to do about it, dealing with the stress as opposed to the stressors, and really like working to take care of specifically managing and dealing with stress. And then through this 12 weeks, we'll be learning. I'm a huge proponent that knowledge is power, and I'm a huge questioner. So if anybody tells me something that I have to do, my next question is why? Why? And so I feel like a lot of you may be the same way, and that knowledge is power, because when you know why I'm telling you to do something or why you should be doing something, it makes so much more sense and it's so much easier to do it. And then once we figure that out, planning, implementing, and then practicing. A lot of this it's really a whole life shift, like a whole lifestyle shift. It's not a quick 10-day fix or 21-day fix. There's a learning curve, and it should be, and it will be easy eventually, but there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. And so really a period of giving yourself grace as you learn how to nourish your body, and then how to do that easily and easily implement it into your busy full life. So it's not, this program is not designed for people who want to spend 2 hours in the gym and all of Sunday meal prepping. Like, we have much better things to do than that. So keeping that in mind as well. And then with the ultimate goal of, automating these healthy habits, once we get really intentional with the habits that we want to create, of how it feels good for our body to eat, how it feels good to move our body, how we manage the stress. Once we get those down, making them automatic, rock solid habits that are easier to do than not do, that we feel better when we're doing them than not doing, so that you can do it without taking up brain power, willpower, time, and that's clearing up the brain power and the creativity and the actual time for whatever are your other goals in your life, your career, make an impact in the community, your family, all that stuff. So the ultimate goal is creating a life of joy, ease, impact, and abundance. And these are the 4 words for my business. They're kind of the pillars of everything that I do. And I love helping my clients find that joy and then create a life of both impact and abundance, and do it easily and with lots of fun. Cool. Sound good to everybody? Any questions? Okay. So moving on, this is sort of a silly graphic, but I think it's a good graphic, and it really shows what most people do. Like, most people who want to lose weight or want to be healthier, feel better, they are this exercise Eileen character over here. So they just try to exercise more. They do lots of cardio. They sort of eat healthy or eat clean, but they don't actually track what they're eating. They just keep working out harder, and then they work really hard all week. And then on the weekend, it just all goes to pot, right? Because you've been so stressed out and exercising so much willpower during the week. Lots of stress and added stress by doing all these extra workouts. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to be more like this Nutrition Nancy over on the right-hand side. So really focusing on nutrition and diet, training hard through mostly strength training, but only, 3 to 4 days a week, 30 minutes or so is plenty for a really good, efficient workout. And really don't need more than that. Lots and lots of walking, and I'm going to be talking more about that later. So, but really tracking what we're putting into our body in terms of food, water, and then how our body is reacting with biofeedback. We're going to keep track of our sleep, our stress level, energy, cravings, all that kind of stuff. Can still have alcohol. I know there's so many programs are don't have any alcohol or fried food or this or that. But I mean, honestly, how long can you live if you cut out all your favorite foods? That's not a sustainable life. So I'll be going over the pros and cons of alcohol. And if you want to incorporate that into your healthy life, it's no problem. If you don't, Also no problem. And then the other thing we're really going to be focusing on is managing stress and prioritizing rest, recovery, and lots of sleep. Does anyone here get enough sleep? No. Not seeing any heads. Okay. That's my pretty common response when I start working with people. Okay. Don't worry, we're going to work on it. Okay, I wish I could see all of you at once. Okay, so for this, this is 100% your journey, and I'm going to have all of you send me your specific goals. I mean, for everyone, they're all going to be different, right? It may be weight loss, it may be increased energy, it may be just feeling more confident in your health, it may be feeling happier and more joyful, it more be all of the above. Whatever your goals are, I am so into your goals. Like I want you to crush those goals. So whatever it is, I am your co-pilot and your guide. So like you're the driver of the result. And as much as you commit and show up, I will show up the same time, but I'm always here for you. I'll give you guys the best ways to reach out to me and connect with me if you need support, if you need questions, if you just need like a 30-second pep talk, I am here for that. So the best way to reach me is number one, you can just post in the Facebook group if you think it's a question that like other people might have, which is probably most questions that, that come up. But if it's, more private or, you're really struggling something or you feel like sort of private about it, you can just shoot me a DM on Facebook or on Instagram is probably the best way. I don't check my email that often. I try to have really strong boundaries around work and technology so that I can be a leader for my clients. So I try to, just check that like once a day and then get back to people. But during sort of work hours, I'll be checking Facebook and looking for those DMs from you or the posts in the group. So feel free to reach out anyway, that way. Okay, so getting more into the Nourish project and what we're actually going to be doing. So a couple different objectives for the Nourish project. Number one is creating a new mindset about food. Really love to see women start thinking about food as something that is both fuel and pleasure and not good or bad, taking out some of those subjective words of like, oh, this is good, oh, this is bad. It's all just food, and it's all a matter of what you need, whether it's for fuel for your body or maybe your soul needs. And we'll go and this sort of this fourth one down here, the flexible dieting following the 80-20 principle. So that's when I say the 80-20 principle, that's saying like, okay, we're incorporating like 80% healthy, quote unquote, healthy, like whole unprocessed food as much as possible. But 20% is that food for your soul, where I'm talking about, I just need some pizza right now, or I love tacos, or whatever it is for you, you should be able to incorporate your favorite foods, but really leaning heavily on, whole unprocessed foods, but with enough food that you don't ever feel super restricted, super deprived. So the goal is to learn how to eat sustainably to achieve your ideal body composition and be happy and satisfied, and then not always tied to points or a meal plan or a certain diet when capital letters. We're going to do that using MyFitnessPal and tracking our macros, but we're not going to start doing that right away. I like to sort of ease into it and make sure everyone really has the foundations of the nutrition and why we're doing what we're doing. So we'll actually start using MyFitnessPal after next week's group coaching section. Another objective is just, to sustain and maintain that ideal body composition by learning to eat just how you eat, and that these habits will become, like I said earlier, just automatic habits where you know how your body likes to be nourished, how to like work in your favorite treats without going super overboard. And you can do all this while eating out, while traveling, while participating in social, business, and networking events without totally freaking out. Because I know there's a lot of times where you feel like, okay, I'm like on this diet, I'm crushing it. And then all of a sudden you have to go to a party. And then what do? You either like don't go to the party because you get so stressed out about trying to stick to your plan, or you go and just go off the rails once you're around some fun food for once. So we will talk specifically about like really some practical tips and how to implement them, and some mindset stuff around parties and social events. And during COVID is a really good time to practice all this, but there is going to be real life again sometime, and we're going to all be excited to go out to restaurants and have parties and stuff. So we'll deal with all of that. Again, if you want to drink alcohol, learn how to track alcohol and incorporate it into your healthy lifestyle, and really knowing the pros and the cons of that, and not just like it's good or it's bad. And then the ultimate goal, my ultimate goal for all of you, is to learn how to eat intuitively, intentionally, be happy in your body, not obsessed about food, and then always have these tools and skills and knowledge in your back pocket. So that you're not, 20 years from now weighing and measuring your food and getting out your little app and tracking it. But you know how to just intentionally build your plate around what you need, but you always have these tools in your back pocket so you can pull them out if you need to make sure you're eating enough or getting enough protein, or if you have some specific goals. Okay, cool. Any questions about that? Everybody good so far? Okay, awesome. Okay, so tonight we're gonna, oh, and by the way, I've said this to some of you, I think, but I wanna keep all of these calls to right around an hour. I know how precious everyone's time is. So I'll try to keep them to in an hour, just so you can kind of plan on that. So tonight we're going to talk about nutrition, and we're talking about specifically just for this first week, building meals around protein, fiber, and fat. We're going to talk about creating a morning and evening routine, and some mindset stuff. And then I'm going to give you a bunch of homework to do that is really around sort of goal setting and getting really clear on not only your goals, but the why behind your goals, how it's going to change your life if you achieve those goals, and then setting up a morning and evening routine that's going to set you up for success. Okay, so first pillar, eat better, nutrition. Okay, so I talked about this a little bit already. Restrictive fad diets never work long-term. They either work until they stop working, and usually they stop working because either people are using all their willpower to starve themselves, or because it's messing up your hormone and your metabolism. And even if you keep eating that way, it doesn't work. We're also not going to try to avoid labeling food as good or bad, healthy or unhealthy, cheating. All that kind of language is, I think, language and words are really important. And those kind of words like wreak havoc on our mindset and therefore on our results. So avoiding all that kind of language as like good food or bad food, and really just digging down to the science of what are the macros, the protein, the carbs, the fat, the fiber. As we get further along, we'll start looking at some more of the micro stuff, like healthier fats versus like saturated versus unsaturated fats, sugar versus complex carbohydrates, but just really avoiding that language of like good food, bad food. Okay, so instead of all that fad diet, fear-mongering stuff, we're going to really focus on the quality and quantity of the food that we're eating. So quantity measured in calories, so that's just the unit of energy. Again, not a good or bad thing at all. It's just a unit of energy. If we're eating in a calorie surplus, which is more calories than our body's burning, we're going to gain weight. If we're in a calorie deficit, if we're eating fewer calories than our body is burning, we're going to lose weight, period. Like that's it. But it's a pretty complicated equation because the calories in is really just math. It's just nutrition. And it does matter what those calories are, the protein, the carbs, and the fat, but it's still a pretty basic math equation. Where the calories out is more of an art and a science because our metabolism depends on so many different things. How much we're moving, how much stress we're under, what kind of food we're eating, if we're sleeping, our hormonal health, our age, our dieting history, all those things are going to affect our metabolism. So we're going to be in the next 12 weeks working on both sides of this equation, both working on managing the calories in, how much protein, carbs, and fat, and finding a way to really enjoy that food and feel satisfied doing it. And then with the calories out, trying to boost up that metabolism naturally as much as possible, because my goal for all my clients is that they can eat as much as possible and lose weight, right? You guys will get to know I love food, like love food. So my goal is to be able for you guys to eat lots of delicious food and hit your health goals. Like that is a win in my book. Okay. So what are macros? So I know some of you, I'm going to just stop sharing for a second because I want to see all your faces. Some of you already know a little about macros. Some of you are like more pros at macros. So if you're more advanced at macros, just please bear with me because I'm going to start sort of basic. So we'll all like lay this foundation and starting at the same point. But we'll get there pretty quickly. Don't worry. Okay, so macros is, I think it's like a great relationship. It's not a diet with a capital D, but like any good relationship, there's strong boundaries, wild freedom within those boundaries, no restrictions, no feeling like you need to cheat on your diet. And in order to do that, in order to stay satisfied, we keep it fun, keep it adventurous. You can enjoy social situations together and nights at home. So that's, I just sort of think it's sort of like a great analogy of a good relationship with your diet that you have through macros is like any other kind of good relationship. So it's really not a diet like with a capital D or with the quotes around it. It's just a diet in that it's literally what you're eating. And we're really focused on portion awareness, but at the same time, there's no restrictions. There's no food that is off limits. And ideally, I love to see you guys all eating essentially 75% similar to how you're already eating. And then we're just going to take that and tweak it to see like, okay, do we need to boost your protein? Do we need to boost your fiber? Most of my clients are pretty surprised that I have them eating more than they were eating. And I know, Michelle, we started working on your macros just a week or two ago, and like you and your husband were pretty surprised, right? It's like, yes, you get to eat more and more and more. Okay, so flexible dieting, we talked about that a little earlier. So again, there's nothing really restricted or off limits, but ideally you do want to be eating about 80% of your food from whole unprocessed, you know, typically what we think of as like healthy food, and then 20% other food that's going to fill up your soul and like satisfy those cravings that always hit from time to time. It's really nice to think about macros as a budget, you know, another, like in addition to my fantastic relationship analogy, very similar to like a financial budget. So when we start working on planning your macros and tracking your macros, planning is going to be hugely important. And you, just like a budget, you're going to plan for and budget the important items first. You're going to make sure you're getting your protein, fill in the rest with, you know, good sources of carbohydrates and fats, and then make sure you get yourself a little treat, and then you just fill in the rest wherever it needs to go. Okay, I know I'm kind of flying through this, but I want to give you guys a big overview tonight, and then we're going to really dig in the next couple of weeks. So, okay, kind of talked about this already, but there's so many other diets out there: keto, paleo, Weight Watchers. So the benefit of a lot of these diets is that they're really easy, right? Like just eliminate this one food group and you'll magically lose weight. Or like if you're doing intermittent fasting, like just eat between this food window and you'll magically transform your life. Or eating clean, like just eat all whole food. So they make a lot of promises that it's easy and that it's fast, and they'll tell you exactly what to do. And I think that's actually the exact downfall of it is, you know, these diets may work for a little bit until your body stops cooperating or your willpower stops cooperating. And I'll get kind of more into a lot of these diets and why I think that they don't really work. But like, just for now, like there's no magic pill to weight loss, except the magic pill of literally figuring out what your body needs and then giving it that. So that is what we're going to do, figuring out what our body needs and our soul wants. And then just always feeling satisfied and not deprived, and also not hungry. I know Laura was shocked this summer. I remember because I just shared one of your testimonials that you were like, I'm so full all the time and I'm melting, and all my other girlfriends are like hungry. So you should not feel hungry or deprived or anything like that on macros. Even if you're in a deficit, even if you have a weight loss goal, you should feel only hungry, like, you know, the 20 to 30 minutes before a meal time. And then, but through the most of the day, you should feel very full and satisfied and not deprived at all. Okay, so I'm going to pause there. Does anyone have a question? Any questions, comments? Okay, cool. So macro basics, again, some of you guys may know this, but I just want to get everyone on the same page to start. So there's 3 macros. The macronutrients make up all food. And then there's a secret 4th one, alcohol. I just want to mention that, but it's separate and different. But protein, carbs, and fat are going to make up the building blocks of all food. So some food is going to be all protein, and those are going to be your typical meat sources: lean meat, fish, eggs or egg whites, protein powder, yogurt. I don't think there's anyone, I don't think we have anyone this time who's vegan or vegetarian, do we? No. Okay. I'll mention that stuff from time to time, but no problem. It works regardless of whether you eat meat or not. But dairy products can be a great source of protein as well. They can be a great source of fat, but if you want more for protein, I recommend the fat-free, you know, Greek yogurt or cottage cheese, stuff like that. So protein is the most important thing. And the one thing I'm probably going to have everyone do, just based on my history working with clients, is we're going to start really increasing your protein. That is the building block for living organisms. It builds, repairs, and maintains muscle. It's used for every single metabolic process in the body. It's also going to help your energy skyrocket, mental clarity, and boost your mood. Just by increasing that protein. And it's also very filling and satiating. So like if you're eating a good amount of protein, it will keep you full for a long time, versus if you're eating carbs like pasta or rice or bread, you can eat it and then you'll feel hungry again, right, you know, pretty soon after. Okay, so protein, and then protein is 4 calories per gram as we get into sort of tracking the macros and the calories. Carbs are not the devil, contrary to popular opinion right now. It's actually our body's preferred source of fuel, and they taste delicious. So each gram of carbs has 4 calories, and, you know, typical sources of carbs are bread, rice, pasta, starchy vegetables like potatoes or squash. All vegetables are carbohydrates, all fruits are carbs, and then candy, obviously, or, you know, just straight sugar. So really great source of fuel. It's our body's primary fuel source, and also necessary for hormonal health. So when people, especially women, cut out carbs for too long, it can start to mess with your hormones. I will be talking a lot about hormones and like women's hormones specifically over the next 12 weeks, but really, really important for that too, to make sure we always getting enough carbs. And then last but not least is fat, your body's secondary source of fuel. It's also really important for hormone regulation and vitamin absorption. So a lot of times if you're eating, the veggies or fruit or whatever with a lot of great vitamins in it, you have to also be eating the dietary fat to help your body absorb the vitamins and really get the benefit of what you're eating. So great sources of fat. Well, these are just sources, period. Fatty meats and dairy, olive oil, coconut, nut butters, avocado, cheese, ice cream, mayo. And later on in the Nourish Project, we'll go over more of like saturated versus unsaturated fat, trans fat, and good sources of them. But these are all overall sources of fat. And then last but not least is alcohol. We're not going to track alcohol separately. So for those of you who are having a drink or two, I'll teach you how to track it. We actually track it as either a carb or a fat because we don't actually track alcohol macros, but I'll get into that later when we start tracking. Okay, so I love this pyramid. It really shows like what is the most important, and it says for fat loss, but truly it's the same whether your goal is increased energy, body transformation, building muscle and fat loss, or just fat loss, or just feeling better and stronger and more confident. And this, everyone, like, the myth is that it's just like, I'm going to cut carbs and like exercise more. But really, if you look at this pyramid of the importance, it's calories, and then moving up is macronutrients and then micronutrients. Neat activity does anyone know what that is? Anyone? Laura's not allowed to answer. So neat activity is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It basically just means how much are you moving your body throughout the day? And we track it officially by counting our steps. A lot of times I'll call it joyful movement because I want you guys to be incorporating joy and play and delight into your day as much as possible. So, I mean, it could be dancing, it could be gardening, it could be going sledding, it could be anything like that. It could just be running around your house, picking up or taking your dog for a walk. This is like leisure walking, like stop and smell the roses walking. It's not like power mall walking or anything like that. And it's actually more important for your overall health goals than exercise. We see exercises at the like tippy top of the pyramid above that. So I really like to emphasize that like over and over and over again, really aim for those steps. And another thing, if you have an exercise bike, just riding it kind of at like a leisurely pace. Because I know if those of us in the Twin Cities, it's about to be like a high of 0 for the next 4 days. So getting those steps might be a little treacherous. I don't know, Madison, Chicago peeps, if it's going to be that cold.
It's like a high of -6, I think, on Saturday or something. So I'm with you.
Okay, so like dance party in your house. I don't know, see how you can just move your body though without a formal workout. And then as you go up the tip top of the pyramid, exercise is the second to last thing in terms of fat loss. So I'm not even going to start talking about workouts until next week. I did send you guys all the invitation to download the Trainerize app, which is the app that has the workouts in them. So if you're already a workout buff and you're like, oh, I just want to try these new workouts, cool, like go for it. But otherwise, don't even worry about that for now. I really want everyone to just be thinking about walking and how much can you get in some steps, and start thinking about tracking your steps as a proxy for this neat activity. And then the last thing, the tippy top of the pyramid, is TEF. That is the thermogenesis. TEF. I'm blanking on the analogy. TEF. It's of food. So the thermogenesis of food. So what it means is when you're eating whole unprocessed food with lots of protein, lots of fiber, lots of water, all those things are going to actually boost your metabolism itself because it takes your body more work to eat those foods than it does processed foods or candy or pure sugar. Your body literally has to do more work to break them down, to digest them, to make them ready to use for fuel. So just by what you're actually eating, even if the calories, the macros are the same, if over here it's like some raw veggies and some lean protein, and over here it's a Big Mac from McDonald's, this food over here is going to actually boost your metabolism more. So that's why, another reason why I talk about trying to keep like 80% of your food that you're eating, that whole unprocessed, high fiber, nutrient dense food, because it's also going to boost up your metabolism and keep you full longer. Okay, so I don't want to just dump every single thing that we're going to be doing on you guys all at once. So this is sort of the schedule. We're going to add things in one at a time, kind of roughly working our way up this pyramid. So what we're really going to start with today is just thinking about intentional meal planning, and then starting to think about tracking what we're eating, as well as how we're sleeping, how much stress we're under, how many steps we're getting, and then our like energy and cravings, which is going to give us feedback for how our hormones are doing, our metabolism. And then next week we'll shift over to tracking the same thing, but starting to use the MyFitnessPal app as a tool. And then once we get a baseline of what you're eating, using that tracking, then on week 3, we'll actually calculate everyone's macros. And then from there, we'll try to hit those macro targets, but we won't do that until week 3. Okay. So it's a really nice system. Most of my clients tell me they really like it because it's not super overwhelming. And by the time we get to week 3, they're like chomping at the bit, like, okay, I'm ready to like hit my macros. And I find that's much better to have people like ready and wanting to do it than being like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. You're making me do all this stuff. Okay. So this is your big homework for week 1, and I'm going to be doing it with you guys. It's really thinking about planning out your meals. And my dad is retired military, so I have lots of like great mantras. He wouldn't call it a mantra, but like lots of great sayings. And fail to plan, plan to fail is one of my favorite sayings, one of my life mantras. So we're going to really focus on planning our meals and thinking about leading with protein, fiber, fat, and then green. So the fiber could be veggies, it could be leafy greens, it could be seeds or nuts, it could be avocado, and lots of great sources of fiber. So I want you to start thinking about having 3 to 5 meals a day, maybe 6, anywhere from like 3 to 6, but with 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal. And that might seem like a lot at first, so really I just think about like start looking at the labels, looking at the back of the nutrition labels, how much protein is in a serving. And it doesn't have to be like hitting these numbers exactly, but really just like, okay, is there protein in this meal? Is this fiber? And where's the fat? Okay, so I'm going to do a Facebook post every day and be like, okay, take a picture of just one. You don't have to do all of them, but take a picture of your meal and show us where's the fiber, where's the protein, where's the fiber, and where's the healthy fat. And then just a little pro tip, it's really helpful to eat them in this order as well. And you can have carbs or anything else, but I'm just talking about leading with where's the protein, where's the fiber, where's the fat, is there a way to add in some greens? Okay, does that seem doable to everybody? Okay, cool. Okay, so that's really what we're just going to be working on this first week.
Annie, are you gonna?
Oh, you got muted.
Annie, are you gonna give us like these slides or how?
I can. Yep, I'm
30
recording
grams.
this, and I can give you the slides too. Oh, you are frozen.
Oh. I think my internet is going in and out.
Do you want to put it in the chat maybe? But yes, I'm recording this, and then I'll like send a reminder in the Facebook group, and I can share the slides with you guys as well in case you want to just go back and get a reminder.
Do you have any like good suggestions of like what to start? So like I know I heard
Yes.
eggs and like some protein, but
Yeah, so I have, which I will also send you, is this my Nourish nutrition guide. I think some of you may have it already, but it gives a little bit more of overview of macros, a grocery shopping list that I recommend of lots of macro-friendly food. And when I say macro-friendly, that's generally going to mean higher in protein, reasonable in carbs and fat. So it has the grocery shopping list, and it also has some meal ideas for breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner. And if you don't know how to divide up your meals, I would just recommend try something and see how it works for a week, and then you evaluate if you want to do it a different way or not. I personally love having 4 meals that are all about the same amount of same size. So breakfast, lunch, a snack at like 3 or 4 o'clock, and then dinner. If I don't get that afternoon snack, I will like eat an entire bag of chips while I'm like cooking dinner or something like that. But it's really a sort of a process of trial and error and figuring out what works for you with your lifestyle, your job, how you prefer to eat, and all that stuff. But I will send you guys a link to the Nourish Nutrition Guide with ideas for meals and grocery shopping lists. And then these slides as well.
Sorry, Annie, my internet I don't know what happened. So I'm on my phone now.
It's okay.
I think you were saying you're going to send us everything we need, right?
I'm going to send you guys everything you need. Yes.
Awesome.
And then the other thing I'm going to send you, which is I want you to set a schedule for yourself. And again, this is always about what works for you, right? Everyone is not going to be a 5 a.m. club member. BB's up 4 hours before that, getting ready for practice. Some of us are more night owls. But so really, really what works for you, but setting a time. I love to have think about like, a bunch of you have kids, a bunch of you have probably babysitter or had kids in your life. If you have a kid in your life, that kid has a bedtime and they have a little routine that sets them up for bedtime success, like bath, book, bedtime, right? And at some point we stop doing that for ourselves because we're like, oh, this is what's best for like this 4-year-old that we like love so much, but I'm just going to watch another couple episodes of Netflix because I'm tired, right? So we're going to start treating ourselves like that beloved 4-year-old. And so I want all of you over the next couple of days to think about setting both a wake up time, which you probably already have, but also a bedtime. It's going to get you a minimum of 7 hours of sleep. And then a very short morning routine and a bedtime routine to set you up for success for the day. And it's not like, it does not, and I say very short intentionally because it does not need to be like a 2-hour morning routine involving yoga and meditation and journaling and reading and 18 different things. Really, it could be like a 5-minute routine that involves petting your dog, drinking a cup of coffee, and taking a couple deep breaths outside. It's all about sort of trial and error and seeing what you think might work for you, and then practicing it, and then evaluating like, hey, is this working? Is this not working? What do I want it to be? And then same thing for a bedtime and a bedtime routine. And I am going to give you guys just super short journal prompts. I would say these probably take like 5 minutes each that I really recommend incorporating as part of this bedtime routine. And I'll send all this stuff to you guys. So don't worry about writing it down or anything. I will send it to you. But the morning questions are 2 questions. How do I want to feel today? And what would make today awesome? It's not a to-do list of everything you need to do. It's literally just what would make today awesome. And then bedtime, writing down 10 things that you're grateful for. And then just a small reflection, not time to beat yourself up, but what 2 things could have made today even better? Okay, so those journal prompts, I will send this all to you guys. Okay, perfect timing. Last thing, I just want to talk about growth mindset and non-scale victories. So a lot of times people start this journey and they're like, I want to lose 20 pounds or whatever. But really, for most of my clients, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say all of them, it's not about 20 pounds. It's not at all about the number on the scale. So we'll use the number on the scale as one point of data to track feedback from our body. But we're really going to be focusing on all kinds of wide-ranging non-scale victories that we're going to measure and celebrate along the way. That could be something like looser fitting clothes, inches lost, more energy, sleeping better, lifting heavier, getting stronger in the gym, more endurance, finding a new healthy recipe, the fact that you want to work out when previously you didn't want to work out. Maybe people ask if you've lost weight. Maybe you just have a positive mindset about food or about your health, or maybe it's the fact that you realize that you're prioritizing your own health and your own happiness, where maybe you hadn't been doing that again. Successfully navigating food choices in social settings. All of these are really important non-scale victories that we're going to be measuring and celebrating and keeping track of, as well as what's on the actual scale. So I have this example I love. I had a client who's been working with me for a while. When she came to work with me, she was afraid to do push-ups like on a bar because she thought she would fall and like die. And she just last week did 8 full push-ups. She's like 60 years old. So it's amazing progress. And this year, she had to go on a road trip because her father passed away in northern Minnesota. And she was really nervous because she'd been really like focusing on her macros. And she said, road trips are a disaster because what we do on road trips is we get all the road snacks and we like eat candy and treats all the way. And so we came up with a plan, and she had some treats, but then she had some healthy food, and she just like rocked her plan. And she came back and she's like, I did it. And now I'm not afraid to go on road trips. Like I can go on a road trip and, hit my health goals. And so like, that's the kind of huge non-scale victory that I love to celebrate, as well as whatever the scale shows or the pictures show. Okay, I'm going to send you guys sort of a template for setting specific goals for this program and have you send it back to me. So don't worry about this now because I'll send this all to you. And then last thing I want to mention is walking. So I've been talking about walking, and I know this is not the greatest time to start a walking habit like these next couple of days, but it's not going away. So 10,000 steps is the goal. That is a lot of steps, and there's really no fast way to do it. Although I talk about exercise where you don't need to spend hours in the gym, 10,000 steps is roughly 3 to 5 miles. So at a 20-minute mile, that's like over an hour of walking. The good news is you can really build it into your day, and wherever you are, you can just start where you are and start building up a little bit. It does not have to be like, oh, I'm going from 0 to 10,000 steps. Just like as a perfect example of a non-scale victory, if you're currently like having like 500 steps during the day because you work from home and your office is 10 steps from your bedroom, if you boost that up to 2,000 steps, it's going to be a win. It's going to start affecting your body. And so don't be intimidated by that number, by that like big gold star standard, but just start taking notice of where you are and thinking, how can you incorporate more steps into your body? So beneficial. I'll be talking more about this, but walking decreases stress. It increases your metabolism. It boosts your immune system, which, hello, COVID, like great time to boost your immune system, helps you sleep better. It just improves everything, increases your mood and decreases depression, anxiety, and also helps your body with insulin sensitivity. So it's really like the one activity that straddles the joyful movement and the stress management pillars of this program. So good. So really this first week and 2, I really want you guys just focusing on walking more, whether it's going outside for a walk or, if it's 0 degrees, like walking on the treadmill or walking around your house. I have one client who told me she put an audiobook in and told her kids to leave her alone. And she just like walked around the house, like picking up for like an hour. There's lots and lots of ways to get movement in, even if it's cold and super cold outside. Okay. That's all I have for tonight. I have just some closing things, but does anybody have any questions, any thoughts or comments before I get to that?
I'll just drop this in the chat, Annie, but do you track it like with like a Fitbit? Like how do you?
Yeah, so I actually just got a Fitbit, but for, forever before that, I just used my phone. So if you have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, that's awesome because it's going to pick up all the steps you have like inside your house and while you're just, maybe going up and down the stairs inside your house. But if you don't have that, you don't need one. It's no problem. I will send you guys the app that I used to use. It's just called Steps. It's like a pink app with a shoe. I think it's free. It's just, so you just need to like carry your phone along with you, especially if you're going for a walk.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions?
No, just that this is wonderful. It's great. I'm super excited.
Thank you, Mary. Yay. I am super excited too. This program I love it so much. And I'm so excited to be working with all of you guys this next 12 weeks. Okay, so wrap it up because I said I'd keep it an hour and we're already over. Okay, I'm going to be sending you a template for the SMART goal setting exercise. Send that back to me and then share whatever you want. I'll do like a post in the Facebook group and you can share in the comments, share whatever you want and you feel comfortable sharing with the whole group in the Facebook group. I'll also send you the template for planning out your morning and evening routine. And so go ahead and do that and take it seriously because you deserve it as much as that, beloved 4 or 5-year-old in your life. And then for this week, we're going to just work on intentional meal planning around protein, fiber, fat, and greens if you got some. And every day I will just post in the Facebook group. I'll post in the Facebook group for each day. And you don't need to take a picture of like all your meals, but like whenever, you think it's the one you want to share, go ahead and do that. Or if you find something that you really like that maybe other people could copy too, that would be great. I'll be doing it as well. So you guys will see what I'm eating. And then the other thing, I don't have a bullet point on this, but I want you to get a journal and I'll show you what mine looks like. I'll show you a couple examples. I'll put pictures in the Facebook group to start, even though we're just sharing the one picture, tracking what you're eating. And it's not going to be weighing or measuring anything at this point, but simply like breakfast, 2 eggs, toast, orange juice, lunch, whatever, just so we start practicing and getting in the habit of not only planning what we're eating, but keeping track of it as well. And then on that same journal, track how many hours you slept, how many steps you had that day, your energy level, like 1 to 10, and maybe if you want to make a note of what's going on, and then your stress level, same thing, 1 to 10, maybe what's going on, and then any hunger level / cravings. Okay, I will send you examples of this and like the template, so you don't need to worry about writing it all down right now. And then last thing is the best transformation contest. As I said, Laura won last time. Congratulations. There's a prize and it's amazing. And I want all of you to do it because it's just a great way to sort of see how much you can grow and transform over the next 12 weeks. And it's a full body, energy, mindset transformation. I have you guys fill out really like how this program affected you. What did you learn? How did you change? But to get started, I have you all send me your weight, your measurements, and your starting pictures by Sunday. So tomorrow, I'm going to send you each your own personal worksheet that we're going to use for check-ins, and each one is going to have a tab that says measurement, so you can just enter right here your starting weight and then get your measurements the best you can with like a tape measure or something. And then I'll also give you a folder in the Google Drive so you can take starting pictures. Those will just be between you and me. And you can just upload them into the Google Drive. And I promise you, nobody likes taking the starting pictures, but 12 weeks from now, you will love to be able to look back and be like, oh my gosh, like I did this. And if you don't have that starting picture, you're kind of stealing some of your thunder of the progress that you've made. Okay, that is really everything I have for tonight. Anything else? Any last thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
Hey, Annie, what's the best way outside of the group to contact? You said Instagram, Facebook, and I know like you've been sending messages on the app. Is that another tool to use?
Yeah, so I don't get notifications from the app on the messages, so that I don't necessarily see right away. But I check Facebook Messenger and Instagram a couple times a day. And also, if it's like a bigger thing, you could always email me. So I check my email like once a day. And then I would just like slide into my DMs. Instagram or Facebook is probably the best way for quickest response. Okay, anything else? Okay, you guys have an amazing night. I will be sending you lots of stuff tomorrow to follow up. So don't be overwhelmed at all. Just take it one at a time. And thank you so much. It's going to be such a great 12 weeks. I am really excited to be working with all of you.
Thanks, Annie.
All
So great
right,
meeting
thank
all of
you.
you.
Bye.
Yep, thank you.
Bye.
Oh, wait, I want to get a picture.
Oh.
Okay, I'm ready. Quick.
Hold on, I'll get on my video.
Okay, unless you don't want to be on. Okay, yay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. Have an amazing night. Bye.